Hi there, this is CJ Miller. I'm in my kitchen. I am, uh, well, first off, I'm in Northwest Louisiana. I'm in Shreveport, right across the beautiful Red River from Bossier City. So come check us out. Always want to extend that. And if you get here and you can't find anything else to do, look me up. We will figure it out. Also, what's going on here? Ah, that's great. So for a moment there, I couldn't see the counter. uh, the There's right up in the corner here where my finger is on my screen. There's a ticker that lets me know how long the video is. I couldn't see that real quick because it's so blazingly white against this. Okay, so what is in this bowl is probably uh, a cup and a half, roughly, of a Bisquick baking mix, and then the first layer that I've shaken down is chili powder, you know, just I think it's Chestnut Hill chili powder. That's just the spices that I have on hand, and then on top of that, uh, I matched it with an amount of paprika, and then half of the amount of this Tony's more spice. Uh, so I want to try something, but a little bit easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the chicken breast into strips. I don't have chicken wings yet. I haven't gone to the market for the chicken wings, but I'm not going to experiment with chicken wings anyway because they're really expensive compared to other cuts of chicken. Uh, so, yeah, I will experiment until I find something that's close. Last time I did a breading, a spicy breading for a chicken, I was pretty close. Um, but it wasn't perfect. It didn't really hit. Uh, so I'm going to try various things, various combinations to give me uh, that satiated feeling of like a great chicken wing breading. I like a good breaded spicy chicken wing, and perfection for me were the blazing wings that are no longer on the market. Uh, Basically, it was, I guess it was too hard to ship them or too hard to maintain them or something. I don't know. Started out being a Tyson product, then it became a Pilgrim's Pride product. Now it's a Country Pride product, and it's not blazing wings, it's blazing chunks, and that's great. But yeah, I think it's just a casualty of that price fixing that the uh, large chicken processing uh, plants got fined for, when they kept increasing. Because after a while, it was like the blazing wings, they were priced at like nearly $30 a bag, like 27 and some change. And at that point, I was like, screw your blazing wings. But anyway, I'm going to stir all this up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add probably just enough water to get it to a good paste, a good consistency, something that will cling to the chicken. Then I'll put the bits of chicken in here and I will let it soak in that batter uh, while my grease is warming up. And so it will be a wet batter versus a dry breading, and we'll see what comes of that. And of course, there's no egg in here also. Uh, I'll get with you. I'm going to put the video on pause, and I'll get with you in a momentarily. We'll see what's up. While that oil is heating, let me tell you something. I just tried this out, and it's got a twist. Um, it's got a very mild heat. I will probably add just a little bit more heat. In fact, I'm going to. Hold on. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir in this amount of into this bowl of crushed red pepper just to add a little bit more heat. But I don't know, man. I think this balance of peppers and then chili powder just, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the wet portion of the batter. And I mean, because I might, Let me try it out. Now it's a little raw. You remember to accommodate for the raw flour flavor. Dude, I think this might actually be it. Um, yeah, this is pretty. This is if this flavor comes out the way I think it would come out, I would totally serve this. I don't know if it's exact perfection to what I'm looking for, um, but I don't think it's not. You know, um, see the chili powder has. Wait, that's not it. I'm looking at the phone without my glasses because bifocals suck. Okay, so the chili powder, which is actually it's a great value chili powder, it has. Uh, oh, that's curry powder. Where? Come here, chili powder. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Yeah, so this particular blend of chili powder, and they have different blends, so you want to watch it. But um, ground chili pepper, uh, ground cumin, ground oregano, uh, garlic powder, and salt. So it has a lot of the things that I would be adding. It's made my. Actually, I was. Uh, yeah, it's like it's great. So my fingers, by the way, are not dirty. What I did was the other day, I applied some color to my hand and the little. I applied some color to my hair because I do color my hair, and the little baggy glove split, and I got color on my fingers. And so for a couple of days, my fingers are going to be like stained. So if you see me in these videos and my hand looks like it's dirty, it's not. It's just a stand, and in a day or so it'll exfoliate. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take another bowl and put um, some of the Bisquick. This will be the wet portion. I'll go in the Bisquick powder first, then I'll come into here, then I'll go back into the Bisquick, and then I'll go into the then I will go into the oil, which is nearly hot enough. So here, let me try this out. I think that's going to work. I think that's going to work. I think um, adding the red pepper flake uh, by the time this sits in here, it's going to add a little bit more heat without going over the top with it. Throughout, keep giving it a stir and let those oils and stuff from the crushed red pepper get married with the rest of it. It's actually probably be good if I did this in advance for probably about a couple of hours. I don't know. This is good. Hold on. Let's see what's up. There it is. There it is. There's that balance of heat with it. This may, this may work if I can find a texture. Even if it's not initially what I set out for, I would definitely use this for a twist. Here we have one boneless, skinless chicken breast that you could buy package. I've got two of them actually out of this package, but I've got one cut here. And what I've done is I've cut it into three strips, and I'm warming oil in a medium-sized saucepan. This isn't like the small gravy thing, but it's it's great. I didn't want to bring out a great big basket fryer for this. This could work two ways. This would work great if you were going to air fry. You would do this breading, and then maybe take your pieces and do them ahead of time, and then you could put them in the refrigerator to let this sit, or you could put them in the freezer and freeze them, and then bring them out and put them on your air fryer pan. I'm actually frying tonight. Good old fashioned deep fry because I'm southern. So you see how this Bisquick, and I just used the Bisquick because that's what was. I'm looking for excuses to use it because I bought it for holiday meals and I don't really use it for much else. Uh, and so I'm just trying to use it. But you see, I'm kind of pushing this, pushing it into the meat, and it coats very well. No egg and it's coating. Now let's see if it will stick without getting washed off. This is also a Bisquick batter with those spices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here, and what I'm going to do is let it rest in this batter for a couple of moments, just until my oil comes up to temperature. And then one last thing I'll do is I will go right back into here, right before I dip it into the oil. But the reason why is I want this stuff to really cling. So when you touch your food, as I do, and this is just me, maybe I wouldn't necessarily handle food like this if I was cooking for other people, but I immediately want to come over and wash my hands in between touching food, especially chicken. Uh, so that's what I'm going to do. And please forgive that vent fan that is going, but I want to talk about how I know that my oil is hot. I don't know that it's necessarily hot enough. I had a little bit of moisture that I dropped in and it crackled. But when I do something like that and it fries almost instantly like this, and I don't want to put the whole spoon in there. Where are we? Let me see. I want to pull this out. When it instantly does this and it instantly cooks up and crisp up, I think I'm getting pretty close. And if you need a little appetizer or something to put on your plate, I picked this up from, it was a, where was it? Oh, I think it was a Long John Silver's. They used to do Krispies like this. Okay, yeah. So, and it's gonna do that really, really fast. Uh, let's taste it, see if it's close. Do I need to make any adjustment with the cook batter? So, dude, I'm gonna tell you, um, it's pretty darn close to what I'm looking for. Uh, because I just dropped the batter in without the flour on it. It has kind of a fish and chips type texture. Chicken. Once I put the flour on it, it's going to go a little bit more on the crispy side versus the softer breading. Um, and I want to adjust with frying like this in a skillet or pan or even deeper frying. This is sufficient for what I need. You will want to watch your oil because as soon as I take this chicken and put it in the oil, it's going to lose temperature. Me taking the lid off, it loses temperature. I'm going to let it sit here as I take the chicken from here, the wetness, and put it in the dry. And then I'm going to bring it back over and drop it. And when I do that, that's when I'll need to watch my pieces. And this is thawed chicken. It shouldn't take more than 8 to 10 minutes per piece of chicken. So let these individual pieces get a crust before you add the next piece. So this is hot grease. It got a crust, and I'm going to drop the second piece, and it's going to get a good crust before I add that third piece. And now we drop this third and final piece. I'm just doing the one chicken breast tonight, cut into 3 strips. I probably could have cut it into chunks and got a couple of batches out of it. I probably could have used a little bit bigger of a skillet, but yeah. But as you see, these individual pieces have got their crust before I put the next piece on top of them. Uh, and that helps to prevent clumping of the pieces together. But this is really, I'm cooking a little bit too close together in a skillet, but I think in this pot, but I think it's going to work out. So you see that some of the oil has absorbed inside of the crust, and also I've lost some temperature. So what I want to do is I want to put the lid back on and then watch. But also at this stage, I also can begin my cleanup in the kitchen. It's really, really good uh, if you're in the kitchen to cook, to kind of clean as you go. It really is going to make things easier in the long run. And that's for the younger people who are just starting out in the kitchen. Learn to clean as you go along. It's not for, I don't make videos for kids, but whatever. Tell your teams when they start cooking to clean up as they go. So at this point, this is looking pretty good. This is kind of looking close to some breading. How will the flavor come out? When you taste a raw batter like I did, remember that you're going to have to account for the raw flour that's in that batter that will not be present in the finished product. The raw flour will weaken the flavor of the spices. So if you overly spice, um, it wouldn't be such a lovely thing. If you do overly spice, use a dip that has no spice, like a generalized mayo or blue cheese or something like that. You can dip and kind of cut the spice, and that'll help. Any sort of a cream-based uh, sour cream dip or something like that, blue cheese dressing, even sometimes just some straight up mayo. Uh, I think this breading would be good if you were going to do potatoes and you wanted to brush some of it on your potatoes before oven baking. Oven baking is basically the same thing as it's basically the same thing as air frying. The If you use a convection oven, it moves the air around, and the same with an air fryer. I don't have an air fryer on my counter. I was thinking about getting one, but I haven't. It's the difference is maybe about 20 minutes worth of cooking time on large items. Small items, it doesn't really matter that much, 2 or 3 minutes difference. So I don't know that it's worth it. But if I had a smaller apartment and a budget, then maybe I would get an air fryer because it's basically a smaller convection oven. Um, what I'm going to do is take a little fork or a little grabber, whatever utensil, and I'm going to give these little chicken strips a little turnover, and then I'll put the lid back on, and then I will finish because they're about halfway done now. Of course, we want to remember that with a Teflon coated or ceramic Teflon coated cooking pot, skillet, or anything like that, that we never want the heat to go above um, medium. We don't want those coatings on the skillet to break down and seep into the food. So, one of the things that we can do is go ahead, once it gets a little firmness, we'll go ahead and remove them and set them over to drain. And if you're talking, make sure you don't burn your knuckle like I just did. So, the breading clings pretty well. This is a no egg batter, uh, and it works. I think if I'd had a smaller uh, batch of chicken, like cut these into smaller pieces, or maybe a slightly larger skillet, it would have been great. But these are looking good. Uh, so what I'm going to let these do is drain. And of course, if you want a crispier batter, you can let it sit in. But I was looking at the color that they're starting to get. It's like, I want to or make sure that I don't char them too much. But you see all this oil and grease coming off this onto this. That's what we want. We want to drain the fat so that we can also get a crispiness. So I think this is going to work out. We'll do a taste in a moment. Aha. So here we have a good, 360 view of it. Um, if you let it sit in that oil, it gets a little crispier. And then if you pull it out, it gets a little crispy. It's an extreme close up. Ooh. Okay. So anyway, what I did was I sprinkled just a little bit of uh, dried Italian seasoning on it. Let's give it a taste. Looks really good and juicy. Mm. I think this is it. This is a very mild. Uh, there's very little heat. But if you were going to do, say, 10, 15 boneless chicken wings with this amount of heat, because it's there, but it's very subtle. It's the last effect upon the palate, the very, very tip of my tongue. If this were my tongue sticking out and this were the tip of it, just this region right here, would I be feeling the heat. Uh, but the flavor and the taste is there. I think I've stumbled across a winner, and I don't know if this is an exact duplicate of those blazing hot wings. And I won't know until in a couple of days when I go shopping and I get some wings. But I'm definitely going to try this again. What I would do differently is I would use a larger, uh, that tends to be that this is kind of a taller pan, uh, and so it's got a narrower circumference. I would use something with a larger surface area on the bottom, so that I could get the bits a little bit further apart, so that to reduce a little bit of clumping. You want there to be some space in between your pieces when they're cooking. I sort of overcrowded, but that was okay. That would work here. What I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to call this a win. And I definitely was able to accomplish what I want to accomplish here. Same treatment, uh, creeper spice. If I'm going to eat a smaller batch, one of the things maybe I could do is marinate the chicken in a spicy red pepper, white pepper, something to get on the surface. But I definitely don't want to tamper with this batter too much. This was a good one. I would offer this up as a home comparison to those blazing wings. I'm narrowing in. I think that there's still room for improvement, but damn it, we're going to get there. I love you guys. Love and light. And yeah, good night.